did have someone doing that, if you did have someone manage the pipeline, maybe that's the thing that could get you to 7, 8, 9, 10 deals a month. Okay, what's going on? We've got a special episode of the Solarpreneur podcast today. A guest that is very near and dear to the show. She is my new account manager and happens to also be my wife. So thanks for coming on, babe. We got Natalie Armstrong on the show. Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, are you nervous?
A little bit.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
I know, what an honor.
People pay thousands of dollars to be on this show.
Oh.
You get to do it for free. Not just joking. But we only bring the best of the best on the show, and this lady, she is crushing it with the accounts. So I'm excited. I wanted to bring her on a little special edition podcast because she just, I say I have ADD. I can't focus on just sometimes the menial tasks such as account management, and she's been stepping up and helping out a lot with that. So I thought she'd come share some secrets and tips and tricks. And how long have you been managing the accounts now for me, do you know?
Like 6 months, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, maybe like 6 months.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and so we'll get into that, but I mean, I guess the backstory was I have some virtual assistants. They are in the Philippines, and they're great. They actually do almost all the editing for the podcasts.
Yeah.
Videos and everything, and they were also helping with some account management, but it just got a little bit tricky because they're in a different time zone, and just some of the way things work around here got a little bit complicated with them trying to manage it and communicate with different people and call into
there's so many moving parts, offices, right? Yeah. Things happen so quick, and sometimes there's like a lack of updates between two, and she'd sometimes send out updates that weren't current. Yeah,
and they'll probably listen to this, so they're great.
They really are. They're super helpful.
Yeah.
It's just hard when they're on the other side of the world.
Yeah, and a lot of times I would need things like quick, like I'll be out on the doors, customer called, we need this update, or we need this thing fixed, change order or whatever, and if overseas they're 8 hours ahead or whatever, it made it complicated. Yeah. So anyways, that's where I'm like, you know what, I think it'd be better, we need someone that's like same time zone, can figure these things out quicker. And I started thinking about who we could use, but the problem was at the time, we got 3 kids, and it's a ton to manage. Just you can tell this place is like, it was like a madhouse.
Yeah, Taylor works so much, right? If you're working in solar, like how much time that you put in the doors, and not just like knocking, but account management, all of the back end things that happen. And so he was working a lot, and I had just had our 3rd son, and if you know children, they work a lot faster than we do. So I could clean something up, and then it will be undone like minutes later, and then multiply that by 3 because we have three little boys. So it was kind of hard. Taylor, anytime he was home, he was trying to be helpful. He'd be like doing the dishes or doing laundry. So on Sundays are the only days he doesn't work, and he would spend like 6+ hours like doing the laundry. And I was like, thank you for helping, but also this is the only day I get you, and so I don't want you spending all of that time doing laundry. Like, we need you here as dad, not as like a maid. And so that's kind of where things kind of shifted, and we were like, okay, we could use some help with this. We could outsource this, and by alleviating some of his time and my time, then I could help him with some of the things that he needed help with.
Yeah, basically I was like, you know what, I could pay someone to manage my accounts, but instead of that, because we were always thinking, I'd finished reading this book, I've talked about it a few times in the podcast, but Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell, great book. He talks about this whole outsourcing thing. I'd heard other people do it where they like get someone to come clean your house. But I was always like, man, that's so expensive, and like we can figure it out. But as I was reading these things, I'm like, well, hey, I need more help managing my accounts, and we're both like nonstop cleaning the house. What if we got someone to come clean, and then I could have Nat, that the time that freed up, because I mean you were cleaning, you were probably cleaning at least several hours every day too, just trying to keep up.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was causing. I would come home kind of unhappy because I had be working, and then even though she was cleaning, still felt like I just had to come home and clean more because it's just like impossible to keep up with these kids.
Yeah.
So it got to be a lot, but I think that's where it changed for us. It's not about like
what you can't do, right? Like you can do these things, but it's like what's worth your time and what's worth your effort. And what you want to do too, right? Like you don't want to be spending 6 hours on Sunday doing laundry. You'd rather work a little bit harder during the week and pay someone else to do it, or hire someone else to work on your account so that you can just like get things running more smoothly and through the pipeline and get installed faster.
Yeah.
And that's just more worth your time.
Yeah. Yeah, it really comes down to what's your hourly worth.
Yeah.
And if you think about it as people in solar, like you can get someone to clean for much more inexpensive than what we can make hourly in solar, right?
Yeah.
And then also
same thing with account management.
Yeah, she can manage the accounts, and that's a higher value task than her cleaning too.
Yeah.
So that's where we had the conversation. We're like, hey, rather than you cleaning, like it's of more value to you to help push these accounts through, because that's a lot more money that we're talking than spending your time cleaning.
Yeah.
And I think you like it more than cleaning.
Yeah.
Too,
yeah.
Okay.
I'd rather do account management than laundry.
Yeah. So I never have to convince her. It's a pretty easy conversation to have.
Yeah.
So that's the backstory of this. And whoever's listening, even if you're not married, whatever your situation is, I think it's a valuable principle. Just think, what are you spending your time on? Can someone do this task for cheaper than what you're doing? Like, are you doing a $20 per hour task when you could be focusing on selling, which is a lot higher value task? So it's something to think about. Even if you're not married, even if you don't have kids, you can probably optimize your time a little bit more.
Yeah. Get someone to make your meals, do your laundry.
Yeah.
All the things that take time.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, I still have her making meals, so.
I am still the chef.
Yeah, she's still doing some of that stuff.
Yes, I'm not completely worthless.
Yeah, she's still a mom sometimes, but
all the time.
Yeah, but so we'll talk a little bit about account management and just some things she's been doing and helping in our business. I think we're a team. It should be a family business. Like we're getting these accounts to roof together, and it's cool to kind of like be a team on that too.
Yeah, and it's as important to me as it is to you, because you make money. That's how we make money. Like we survive together by what you make, so it's worth it to me too. Yeah,
that's our money making activities. I'm gonna have Nat talk a little bit about some of the tasks that she does, and at the end, she does actually have some openings for a few people. She's getting some potential clients, so we'll talk about that at the end. But I'm gonna have her just walk through some things she's been doing and some things that we feel we've been able to optimize and have her help with in the business. Yeah. So right now you're, it's kind of, I think Tuesdays and Fridays are the days you're focusing on the accounts, right? So do you want to walk
about twice a week is pretty important, because I mean you can call in like on Monday and it will be completely different on Friday. So I think just once a week isn't enough to check in on your accounts. I usually I call in, I go through we use, shout out to Brent Attaway, we use the CRMX that he has. So in there, I have all of his customers, and they're all in different categories. So we have like intake, site survey pending, waiting on final design, if they need HOA approval, if there's additional work, kickbacks, scheduled, all of that. So we can see kind of the phase of all of these deals. So I just go through and I basically just call and get a new update like at the beginning of the week. And then I make sure that I write down, like there's a note section. And so I make sure that we take notes on every single customer, because oftentimes you'll call in And then they'll be like, okay, we'll call back tomorrow about this. And then you call back, and I'm sure many of us have experienced this, where you call and you talk to one person, they give you one answer, and then you talk to another person, they give you another answer. So it's super important to keep that log to like make sure that you have like written down what they've said, and that you can refer to that and just be like, well, yesterday they said this. And they're like, oh, okay, let me do some more research. And then they go and they look in like an email thread that was somewhere, and they're like, oh yeah, I see this. And it's like, okay, well, we would have missed that, and then it would have been like a whole nother week before we addressed this, or they were waiting on something. So I make sure to make like detailed notes. And then I also am in contact with Taylor all the time. Like I'll text him and be like, hey, so-and-so needs this, or did you take care of this? And yeah, so then I kind of make him like a to-do list.
Yeah.
So then he can like, we can have a shared note of things he needs to do.
Yeah, and didn't you have one where, like, just to give an example, where they were ready to schedule for install, but one person thought that we were still waiting on, like, a permit revision or something?
Yeah.
Then you had to call, like, 3 times, but it could have been, like, an extra month before it got installed. Yeah. But just because you had to,
because sometimes when you call, they tell you something, you're like, okay, and then you just kind of, like, take it for what it is. But, like, because I had, like, those detailed notes, I was like, well, actually, no, that's not right. Yeah. And, like, then, yeah, so sometimes they don't update their system quite right, and then you have things that are, like, sitting in the pipeline for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's really helpful to have some type of CRM. Like she said, we use CRMX, go in and stay organized. Yeah. Keep track of all of them. And I already was implementing that. But my biggest challenge was I would go through these things, but I would get busy some weeks. Some weeks I would be in tons of appointments, tons of deals. Yeah. And so I just didn't have time to go through them at all.
Things fall through the cracks.
Yeah, and then by the time I got back to it, say a week and a half later or whatever, went and checked them, I wasn't taking as detailed notes as I should have, and I would kind of forget what happened. And then I was finding this stuff, loose ends that could have been wrapped up a week or two ago. Yeah. I was just honestly spacing it, because I would try to make my own little to-do list. But I think that's probably been the biggest, the most helpful thing for us is she just I'm still doing things on these accounts. Yeah. But she just as she checks in multiple times a week, she's like, hey, where are we at with this? And I'm like, oh yeah, shoot, I forgot. Yeah. Made myself a note, but yeah, we need this document done. We need this change order completed. Right. And then she can either text the customer. That's what's cool is she can, on CRMX, you have a number that you can text from. Yeah. So she can, bug her customers for these things. She can give them updates. Yeah. And a lot of things she can do, but the things she can't do, then she's putting on my to-do list and tagging me in it and keeping me on track.
Yeah, I mean, I can't do everything, obviously, but the things that I can do, I do to take off of his plate. So, like the HOA approvals, I can fill out those applications. I can email them into the HOA, and I can call, and send change orders, and then text the customer and be like, hey, they sent this to your email. Can you please sign it? Or hey, here's a quick update. I called your installer today. We're just waiting on your final design. We should get it back next week. I'll keep you posted. Just quick updates so that they're in the know. They're not okay, it's been a month. I haven't heard from my solar rep. Am I actually getting solar? And obviously the less you talk to them, the higher the cancellation is. So I think having constant communication with them and having frequent current updates is important.
Yeah. Yeah. What is it Fridays or just once a week you're text them or
something?
Right?
Yeah. So I'll check on the account twice a week, but I'll usually text them once a week.
Yeah. 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 And, we've mainly been using one installer out here. But yeah, it can differ between installers. I know sometimes installers give you a CRM where you can go in and see updates. This particular one we're using, have some complaints about, but you have to call them for updates. Yeah. They don't have a central place where you can go to get updates, which is a little bit annoying. But yeah, that's another thing. I found myself spending probably hours a week just calling in and having a conversation with one person, and then sometimes they knew what they were saying. Sometimes it'd be something completely different than someone else. Yeah. So now it's awesome. I can just have Nat do everything, just have her call. Yeah. And she's way more patient talking with these people than I am. Yeah. I'm she'll actually joke around with them, laugh and stuff. And
well, they're more willing to help you
this.
if you're nicer to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I get frustrated doing this for so long. I'm like, yeah, get this done now type thing.
Yeah.
So she's way better at having patience with those people. I guess I get frustrated because I know a lot of times they're just like college kids or whatever, getting paid hourly that don't really care about my accounts. So, no one cares as much as I do. But, yeah, maybe you do.
I care as much.
You can be nice about it. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that's been helping us. Installs have been going in quicker. It's just like a way more bandwidth I have to focus on getting in deals, focus on door knocking. I feel like before my attention was like split. Even when I was knocking in deals, I would have sometimes in the back of my head, oh, I forgot to do this for this customer.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like a constant distraction type thing hanging over my head.
Well, then you get stuck sometimes with tasks and you're like spending time, like hours, and you're like, okay, shoot, I just wasted so much time where I could have been knocking.
Yeah.
And then you get out late, or you're like, okay, well, maybe I'll just keep working on this, and then you don't knock at all, So
yeah.
I think it's important to, get rid of the tasks that don't need your attention.
Yeah. Yep. And then we work with a lot of HOAs out here. So I think that's another big thing.
Yeah.
Just her being able to bug the HOA in California. What's interesting is they have 45 days to give us a response that's written in like I forget the law or whatever, but they have 45 days to give us a response if it's approved, denied, whatever.
Yeah.
So another thing that's been helping us is she's been like keeping track.
Like we have day 39.
Yeah, we have the day, we know the day we sent in the HOA application in. Yeah. A lot of these HOAs are just kind of a joke out here, don't even respond. Yeah. So she keeps track of the exact day, yeah. And then day 45 hits, we don't hear from them. I mean, that thing's getting scheduled. Yeah.
Yeah. When that's something that you probably before were like, oh, okay, I need to check up on that, and then it's like past time, you're like, oh shoot, it's been more than 45 days. We could have had this scheduled.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to go back in the email and like look, but yeah, sometimes it'd be like 60, 70 days, and I'd be like, man, yeah, we could have this scheduled weeks ago, but didn't check on it. So yeah, things like that. But I don't know anything else that you feel like you've been able to help me or optimize, or I don't know any disorganization that you see from other reps or other people you've noticed. Mostly just like you have so much on your plate already. So if there's something that you can do that will help get through it faster, then that's the way to do it. I mean, you have one of your assistants. This isn't something that I do, but every time I add in a new customer into the CRMX, then she goes in and sends a gift to the customer. Yeah. So that's another thing that kind of gets offloaded, but that's not something that I do. But yeah, I make sure to get everything in there. I get like their phone number, their email, their address, so that we have everything. And then we also have like their text thread. So I'm able to see like communication. I have access to his email, so I can see all of the updates. Like if he talked to the customer, if he messaged someone else, and then I can kind of be in the loop as well, which is super helpful. Yeah. So I think constant communication is honestly just the key. It's like you get an update, I get an update, and just being like, okay, where are we with this? Where are we with this? And then just like the most important things you can actually deal with, as well as all of the other things that you have to do. Yeah. So. Yeah, and you're sending me like a report too, which I like, is go through all of them and just kind of an update on what happened for me too, so I know that it's being worked on and where we're at. Yeah. Yes, that's good. Just like a list of all the customers and the update for that week, twice a week. Yeah. So yeah, been a big help, and I tell it to all the closers on our team. I would definitely recommend, once you're past, I would say even 4 or 5 deals a month, I would just get someone like Nat to go and help manage your accounts. Yeah. Because even if you feel like it's not a ton of work, it's like goes back to that principle of, if you did have someone doing that, if you did have someone manage the pipeline, maybe that's the thing that could get you to 7, 8, 9, 10 deals a month. And it's not even just like necessarily knocking more and getting more deals. It's like more
the more attention we have on the customers that you already have, the higher percentage actually get to install.
Yeah.
So it's like what's worth your time, but also like what you already have is actually getting to install and getting PTO.
Yeah. Yeah, so we should go and track it, but I'd bet, I'd bet some money that I have the percentage has gone up by, I don't know, at least 20-30% probably that are going to install versus before she was managing them. Because, I was having stuff fall through the cracks left and right, and, it got kind of rough there for a minute. So it's helped me a lot. So if you're like me and you can't focus, you don't like the account management, you'd rather be in deals, especially, you need someone to manage the accounts.
Yeah, I think it's a game changer for sure.
Yeah. So speaking of that, just to wrap up, I know you're accepting potentially a few applications. Yeah. I know you're a busy mom of 3 and everything, but
but now I have a housekeeper.
Yeah, you got a housekeeper. So I have freed up some time. So we're just talking about that. I know that's something you're open to doing, is helping more people.
Yeah.
With their accounts. So in case people want to reach out and maybe, I don't know, hop on a phone call or something if they're interested, what's the best way to, you want to share your social media or something? Or a best way to connect with you?
I don't know what the best way is. Probably just through you, don't you think?
Yeah.
Just send you a message.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can get in contact.
Okay. All right, we can do that.
Yep. That might be the best.
She's a private person. I'm sure we'll tag her in this. So
yeah.
I'm sure you can see her
I just can't remember what my handle is on Instagram. So.
Okay. All right. So send us a message. You can hop on a call. She has a few openings if you are interested in getting someone to help manage your accounts.
Yeah. I think it would be worth trying, right?
Yeah. Yep. She can explore. I know you just did a little, kind of discovery call with someone on our team. And I think that alone was helpful just to see, like,
I mean,
where stuff is falling through the cracks. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you don't know if you don't track, right? And so sometimes you're going through things, you're like, oh, shoot, I didn't realize that this and this and this and this is happening. So I think even, like a discovery call, I could go through it with you and just see where we are, what you're already doing, what's working, what's not working, and see how we can optimize that. Yeah.
Okay. So, hit us up if you do want to check that out. And guys, remember, we got SolarCon coming up here in less than a month. Yeah, I think it's less than a month now. Yeah. So it's going to be in Vegas. If you have not got your tickets, we have some awesome bonuses for anyone that decides to get the upgraded ticket. There are free tickets now. But if you want an upgraded ticket, or the other way you can get our bonuses, which we will include in the show notes, got some awesome bonuses. Did a podcast on it. I think last week. But you can get the hotel block through our link, through our discount link there in the show notes. So click that, either upgrade your ticket or purchase your hotel through that link, and we'll hook you up with some sweet bonuses. You don't want to miss out. You excited for SolarCon?
I'm so excited.
Yep, she's excited because she gets kick me out in. And I don't know, hang out with
those
kids.
Those are the times when I put the kids to bed early and eat cookie dough in bed.
Yeah, so she's excited for it.
Oh, I'm just kidding. I'd rather have you any day of the week.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, guys, so hit us up if you want help with your accounts. And stay tuned. We got some exciting guests coming up for the show. Thanks again for coming on with us, Nat. Any last words for solar professionals you want to say today?
Nope.
Okay. Well, good job on your second podcast. Okay, get out there.
Get someone to do your accounts.
All right.
That's my advice.
Let's do it. Okay, thanks for your advice. See you on the next one.
Thanks for having me.